Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Nick Tan Chats. My name is Nick Tan, and on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about something called Selfstarter, released by Paul Carnazzo over at mentalvoyage.com. So hi again guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for showing up, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for spending some time with me today. So on today's episode, I'll be doing a really quick video to talk about something called Selfstarter, okay, that is released by Paul Carnazzo over at mentalvoyage.com. Okay, now if you are familiar with the work of Paul Carnazzo, you will know him for his pocket mentalism cards. Right, cards that you can perform bits of mind reading with, that are really easy to carry around, and you can carry around any of his cards, in your wallet, right, as part of your EDC, I suppose. And I've done a couple of reviews for his product as well. Namely things like lexicology, which I was using quite extensively at one point in time, especially during my close-up engagements, right? And Dreamweaver, right, is another one which I actually still do carry, in my everyday wallet, and I still get to perform it from time to time. So while Paul has released a number of these mentalism, pocket cards, right, this is actually something that, well, it's kind of like more magic-based, I suppose, because it deals with card tricks. All right, card effects, with a physical deck of playing cards. And what is Selfstarter? Well, it is a card. Well, still keeping in the spirit of his, pocket mentalism / magic series, it is a card that you can carry around with you, and it outlines, well, three tricks, right? Three tricks. Selfstarter is a card that outlines 3 tricks, okay, that you can have the spectator perform for you. Okay, so these effects are actually kind of like spectator as magician kind of effects. Okay, so you will take the spectator through the instructions that are laid out on the card itself, and they will be able to perform some card magic, and they will have no idea how they did it. So what do you get when you purchase Selfstarter? Well, it comes to you in this cardboard sleeve, okay, inside which it contains the card itself. Okay, now it's a double-sided card. I won't be showing you exactly what is written on the card itself, but you can actually look at the card, in quite great detail actually on Paul's website. So in addition to the physical card itself, right, the prop for you to carry around your wallet, you will also be given access to a really short tutorial video, all right? It runs for about 24-25 minutes, I believe, and on that video, Paul will take you through each of the card effects. He will take you through each of the effects, all right, that are outlined on the card itself, and he will guide you through, all the moves and all the steps involved, so that the spectator will be able to perform the effects for you. Everything is taught in great detail. If you're not familiar with some of the moves that are required, Paul goes through each of those as well. So really briefly, right, this is what the card looks like. Okay, it's a double-sided card. It's about the size of a playing card, slightly larger, I think, but it will easily fit into your wallet. On one side, it says self-working card tricks. Okay, self-working card tricks, and there are actually, again, three tricks, okay, that are described, okay, on the card itself. The first one is something called deal to card. The second one is called cut to card, and the third one is something called the 4 aces. And I think the motivation behind having like a card like this, in your wallet is maybe, you can say that this is part of like a magic set, that you have, and it's kind of like a cheat sheet, or like a cue sheet of sorts, just to kind of jog your memory as to the steps that are involved, in performing each of these individual card effects. So from there, you could hand the card to the spectator, they can look over it, and it's really just like really brief instructions, procedural instructions actually, about how to perform these card tricks, and then from there you can kind of invite them to try the tricks out for themselves. So I guess at this point in time, it'll be useful for me to kind of describe, what happens in each of these, 3 card effects, right? So that you can get an idea about what they are, okay? So for each of them, you will need a physical deck of cards. Okay, I mean, they can be borrowed. There is some prep work involved, but, well, I'll get to that at the end, okay? But you will need a deck of cards, and the deck can be borrowed, okay? So the first effect is something called deal to card. All right, so in this effect, what happens is, well, the spectator is, shuffling the deck. All right, you follow the instructions. Step 1, magician shuffles deck, and so on and so forth. And then you, all right, you are now playing the role of the spectator, correct? So you choose a card, the cards are shuffled, and the card is lost in the deck. You deal the cards face down one at a time. The spectator, who is now the magician, you are the spectator, and you have lost your card in the deck, right? And then now you deal the cards one at a time face down to the table. They, who is now the magician, says stop. All right, when they say stop, you stop there, and then the instructions tell you, all right, to hand the deck back to the magician, the spectator, or hand it back to them. Okay. This is more difficult than I thought. So they are asked to deal 5 more cards off the top of the deck, at the point that they decided, right? And then, when they stop, you, who is now the spectator, is asked to name your card, the card that you chose. You name the 3 of hearts. They turn over the last card that they dealt, and it is the 3 of hearts. So, somehow, miraculously, they have managed to kind of locate the card that you have picked, okay? And it's almost similar to kind of like a stop trick, but it's kind of like they are doing it for you, all right? That is the kind of presentation that is involved in this first effect. The second effect, really simply, it's something called cut to card, okay? They shuffle the cards, you now pick a card. You remember a card, it's lost back into the deck. The deck is handed back to them. They cut the cards. Okay, they cut the cards, and then you name the card that you picked, and they have somehow managed to cut to the card that you have chosen. As a little bonus effect, the instructions also predict, the bottom card of the deck. Okay, despite all the shuffling and the cutting. So it says here, bonus effect, the bottom card is now the 3 of clubs. Okay, so they can just pick up the deck and they see that, the bottom card is in fact the 3 of clubs. And the last effect is something called the 4 aces. Okay, so what happens in this one? Really simple. The 4 aces are on top of the deck. You insert 3 of the aces into the deck. You square them in. You place the deck face down. Your spectator, who is again now the magician, takes the top ace. All right, the 4th one, waves it over the deck. And then when they turn over the top 3 cards, somehow the aces have returned to the top of the deck. So that's it, right? Those are the 3 effects that the spectator will be able to perform, okay, for you. And again, they will have no idea how they did it. So as I mentioned earlier, right, to perform these effects for the spectator, or rather have them perform it for you, you will need a deck of cards in play, all right, a physical deck of cards. And if you are using the exact handlings that Paul teaches you in the tutorial, then, well, I think it's preferred to use your own deck, because there's some work that needs to be put in, okay, into the deck, okay, which, well, I think you can do it with a borrowed deck, on the fly, but if you do it with your own deck, I think it's much more controlled and convenient as well. So the handlings that Paul teaches you will require some basic sleight of hand. Okay, some basic sleight of hand, and well, they work, if you perform it exactly like Paul, they will work, not an issue at all. But I'd like to just mention that if you just look at the steps, all right, the procedures, it is actually really possible as well to come up with your own handlings. Your own handlings for each of these effects, and they can be kind of tailored to kind of suit your style or your sleight of hand vocabulary, right? Whatever you're comfortable with using, and you can kind of build your handling around the steps that are outlined on the card itself, and it's quite a fun process, I think, to kind of look at the steps involved and work out how to perform it so that, well, it's consistent with the steps, and yet you make it seem like the spectator is the one that's doing the trick for you. So for me, I've gone through each of these effects, obviously, and I haven't performed them yet, but I have actually come up with handlings for each of the effects. And I think, it makes it more suited to my style. I think it looks really clean, because of the way I intend to perform these effects, right? If I do perform them, right? And I'm going to be using my own deck. So well, I've got some bits of business which I think will clean up a bit of the handling and make it look really, really fair and hands-off. But yeah, you know, that is what Selfstarter is all about. You know, it's a series of card effects where you can have the spectator kind of become the magician, right? And take the limelight for a bit. And I like these sorts of effects. You know, in my own repertoire, I've got effects where, you know, it's like the spectator as mind reader kind of effects, you know, and I think it's quite a popular thing. You apparently let, you know, a spectator suddenly be able to do the stuff that you do, right? To read minds and stuff, and they've got no idea how they do it, right? So I think this is kind of like the card magic equivalent, you know, and it's nice, I think, as a little segue in between a longer set of card magic where you can kind of take a step back, a back seat, and have the limelight on a spectator and have them just do some really simple card tricks, you know, and have everyone just kind of be amazed and cheer them on. And I think the best part about it is that they will also not know how they did it as well, right? So yeah, I think it's quite a cute thing to have, you know, as part of a working set. So that's all I have to say about Selfstarter by Paul Carnazzo. If you'd like to have a look at the card, you know, in greater detail, right? Again, you can have a look at it on Paul's website itself. And if you'd like to pick up a copy, I will also leave the link in the description box down below. So I'm really getting behind in my reviews. You know, I've got stuff from TCC, from Minehouse as well to go through. I will try to get through them, you know, this week, and I'll try to squeeze out another video for you guys this week. So do stay tuned for that, all right? But thanks for watching today's episode. I do hope, you know, you guys got something out of it, you know, and till the next episode, do stay safe, take care of yourselves, have fun with your magic and your mentalism, and I will see you on the next one.